Test, test. Test, test. I'd like to call the meeting to order. Let the record show all board members are present. To have a motion to approve the agenda with one small modification under communication reports, move C right under recognitions. Mr. Pack has to leave early. To have a motion to approve the agenda with the adjustments.
I move we approve the agenda with the correction as noted.
Your second. Motion moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Okay, recognitions. Mr. Pack.
Mr. Ford, Dr. Starcher. Board members, appreciate the opportunity to be here. Thank you for letting me speak a little early because I do have a So thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening. I do have a National Technical Honor Society ceremony to go to shortly. Just wanted to give you a legislative update. This year, probably now about 4 weeks ago, we found out legislation had been introduced into the House that would, the stated purpose was to transfer ACE programs, which are all of our adult programs, over to the community college system. And the stated reason was that those students could get college credit. If they had that, they would have access to grants. They would have access to community or to employers and different things like that. And so they never consulted any of the career technical schools when they did that. They just sent this legislation out. And what their ideal was is they would operate the programs in our schools and we would get rent or something from them, but other than that, we would have no control over our own programs. We have had these programs in Raleigh County for 78 years. We've done adult education. We've offered Pell Grants since 1983, which went right against what they were saying, that those students don't have access to that. We give financial aid in the form of Pell Grants, ACE, WIOA, HEAPS, VOC Rehab, and veterans benefits. So we serve from 18 years old up to 80 years old. We've had students in all those age groups. And one of our contentions is those students want to take a career program where they can get a career in 6 weeks to 2 years without the entanglements of college things. They just want to get their career and go to work. And so that's what we've been doing. We've been doing it successfully. We reported to our accrediting agency this year an 85% completion rate with our adults. 85% of them who start, finish. We place 90% of them in the field of study. And then we have a 99% licensure rate for our students. Every one of our students in adult programs, they either earn state credentials, national credentials, or some type of license, in the case such as the practical nurses earn a license that they have to have. So we have a 99% passage rate for those students. One of the things they said was they would operate the programs just like they are in place. Our employees would switch to the Higher Education Commission. Raleigh County Schools would pay them for their vacation and accumulated sick leave, and they would start taking those people as their employees. They said there would be no other changes, but they also state that $6.5 million will go back into the general fund for education. So there's no way they can operate those programs exactly the way they are now with 42% less funding. We have partnerships with HEAPS, Workforce West Virginia, Chamber of Commerce. That's one of the stated goals of the college system. And then the college system's success rate hovers in different places, and this is public information, but their published success rate of completion is in the 30s as a statewide entity for community colleges, 30% range. So we've done a great job for 78 years. We have great results, and we intend to keep those as best as possible. That legislation was tabled this year, and it won't come back up again this year, possibly next year, but we're not going to wait. We're going to stay busy during the summer, making sure that that doesn't come back up or it's not successful. I don't think Raleigh County wants to lose their adult programming, so we're going to do our best to stay there. And one of the counter proposals, I told them in a meeting the other day, I didn't know that things were up for grabs like that. So one of the things that community colleges do that they was never told to do was certificate programs and duplicating our program. So we're going to work with some legislatures and possibly ask them to turn the certificate programs over from the community colleges back to us where we do such a good job. So I can answer any questions that you have, or I can.
Only question I'd have, Mr. Pack, is first thing I'm glad is it was tabled. That was one of the reasons we have some of the scheduled personnel actions we have on here is because the State Department told us that was coming. Mm-hmm. And so we have that. But is there anything that prevents us from offering those classes as college credit? I mean, we offer college credit classes with different things, and I can see especially some of the nursing programs and stuff like that, that we could possibly maybe go with like Bluefield State or something like that and offer those as, or do we already do that?
We already do that.
See, we are. I mean, that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
I didn't see where they say, well, they get college credit, but I thought we were doing that.
Yeah,
So.
we have articulation. Bluefield State's a great example. My
Right.
practical nursing students, 1 year they're an LPN. They can go to Bluefield State in the bridge program and get another year, and they're an RN.
Right, okay.
I have a young girl that graduated medical assisting at 18 years old as a 12th grader, went straight into LPN, graduated 1 year later, and now she's at Bluefield State.
Right.
And took care of my mother in the hospital the other day. So
Okay.
those are the successes that we have.
Well, I mean, it's definitely a very successful program, and hopefully we can bend some ears and do some things and maybe get some people in and wake them up to what we're doing. But I appreciate you, your presentation in Charleston that you did. It was very well received. I heard a lot of excellent things about that, and I appreciate all the hard work you guys do out there at ACT. Thank you,
sir.
Any other questions? Thank you.
So, on there. Okay. Mr. Pack, so some of the recommendations that were on the recos were due to that legislation coming up, or we didn't know it was what was going to happen to it, or what?
Well, those positions are funded by 1 year grants. So in reality, the law probably said that we should have been riffing those each year anyways. But they had never pushed that. They had never asked us to do that. This year they asked us to do that, and I'm positive that's part of the reasoning. So they would have that in place when they did this legislation. Another thing that they did, sort of a preemptive strike, they took away the ability for us to award HEAPS grants. Those are West Virginia grants for low hours, like our phlebotomy class is less than 200 hours. That's the only funding source they could get was HEAPS. So we're looking into the possibility of getting that restored as well. But we think it's all part of this trend. And I've got to say, our State Department was right in the middle of it. They're pushing us to do this and to get rid of these programs. They had no reason other than they said the kids could get college credit, they could get federal funding and those types of things, which we already do. Thank you.
Any other questions?
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Pack. Okay, moving right along. We have no agenda items, no non-agenda items. Yeah, that's next. Oh, I'm sorry. We do have non-agenda. We have agenda items, excuse me. I didn't read this. Okay. We have some people who've signed up to speak. You have 5 minutes. First on the list is Erica Hampton. Come on down.
Good evening. My name is Erica Hampton. I am currently a school counselor at Woodrow Wilson High School. I'm in my second year here, but my 11th year of school counseling in Raleigh County Schools and my 19th year of education in Raleigh County Schools. So I'm here tonight because I want to talk about the termination of teachers and counselors and the decrease in days for the counselor contracts for the counselors that have not been terminated for next year. I have thought long and hard the last few weeks about what I wanted to say tonight, and honestly, I was literally still writing it a few minutes ago. My main thing that I keep coming back to is I keep thinking about every year, Raleigh County Schools at the beginning of the year typically has somebody a guest speaker that will come over here, they speak to inspire us, to make us remember what is our why. Why are we in education? Why do we do what we do? For me, my why has to do with how I grew up. My brother, sister, myself, I was the oldest. We grew up in a home that had a leaking roof, holes in the floor, abuse in the home. It was a struggle. And I just think about, how did I get to where I am today? It was because of teachers, it was because of counselors that cared, that looked at me and seen something in myself that I couldn't see. Whether it was food when I was hungry, a smile when I needed it, or a hug, somebody was there. All of us that are in education typically go into it because we care. Because we want better for our students than we possibly had for ourselves. In high school, I can remember looking out the window and seeing Spanky Francis, the truancy officer, looking in the window to see where I was at because I was a truancy risk. I was failing classes, missed 40-some days before spring break. Honestly, I'm not sure how I got here because a lot of odds were stacked against me. I think as we become successful, we do well for ourselves. We figure it out. Sometimes we forget how we got there and the people that helped us to get there. And I think, we're looking at this. I know everybody's like, we don't have the money, we don't have the money, we don't have the money. But somehow we have money for things that our students don't necessarily need within education. But they need a support system. They need teachers, they need counselors that know that they care. I think about all of the teachers, the coaches that poured into my brother, sister, and me, that helped us not only to survive, but to thrive, to realize we could do more than we thought was possible. I think about the art and music cuts at some schools. Art was big for me. I learned how to sew. I became very creative, outside of the box thinking. My brother and sister lived for band. It's probably what kept them safe and alive, honestly. And now we're cutting that at some schools. So now we have all these supports or outlets for students that are gone. We need to rethink that for our students. As a school counselor, one of the tenets of the American School Counselor Association is advocacy. We are to advocate for our faculty, for ourselves, and for our students. And so tonight I'm here to advocate for more than just myself as a counselor that will have their contract days cut. I'm here to advocate for the teachers and counselors in Raleigh County that are being terminated at the end of this school year. They are an invaluable support system for our students. American School Counselors Association states that best practice for students is to have 250 students per one counselor. The reason being, it helps us to know who these kids are, what their needs are, what is going on in their life, what do they need that may not be being provided within the home. So with this cut and the additional caseload, kids are going to fall through the cracks, and that is sad that we're going to miss somebody, a kid possibly like my brother, my sister, or myself. But the most important people that I'm advocating for is not myself. It is not the educators and the counselors in this room. It is for the students. They come from difficult home situations, foster care. Maybe some of them are from traditional families with their needs being met. And these kids are smart, they're funny, creative, determined, mischievous, wild some days. Lord, are they wild. But a lot of them, they are hurting. And that's where we step in, the teachers and the counselors, to provide support for these students that don't have support at home. I ask the teachers and the counselors that are here tonight because of termination or loss of days to please stand right now. These are some of the people, some of the support system for Raleigh County students. I ask that you rethink these recommendations that are on the board tonight regarding cuts and terminations, because you are taking away the support systems from kids that have nobody and nothing. How can we expect them to get where I am at right now if they do not have these people in their lives and in their corner, in their schools? Thank you.
Well, thank you. Stephanie Connier, I may pronounce that wrong. We do have a lot of speakers signed up tonight. If everyone could try to hold your minutes to 5, it would be appreciated.
Hello, my name is Stephanie Cohenauer, and I'm a teacher at Beckley Elementary. My name is Stephanie Cohenauer. I'm a teacher at Beckley Elementary, and first of all, I'd like to thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak. I am asking you to reconsider the removal of Christy Norris from Beckley Elementary. She has been the full-time counselor at Beckley since the doors opened. Prior to that, she was the counselor at Central Elementary, one of the schools that was consolidated to create Beckley. As such, a number of our parents had attended Central and are very excited to see Mrs. Norris. You see, Beckley Elementary serves a community of people who don't find it easy to trust. I mean, we've all watched the news. It's getting harder to trust anyone. But when they come to Beckley and they see Miss Norris, they light up. They know they can trust their kids with us because as children, they trusted Miss Norris. Beckley Elementary serves an area that is high poverty and high trauma. While as teachers, we try to meet our students' needs, without a full-time counselor, some students will inevitably fall through the cracks. We have students who have lost family members, who have been taken by CPS, been taken by non-custodial family members, ones who have been taken with parents on actual drug deals, and they've lost their homes. Ms. Norris has been there for all of them. She's able to devote the time. 80% of her job is counseling. As teachers, we don't have that luxury. Who else could donate, or I'm sorry, who else could devote that time to these students? Teachers understand in order to teach a student, their basic needs must be met. Mrs. Norris is able to talk to and calm students with big emotions so they are ready to learn. She also has built connections with the community to provide basic needs for our students, food, clothing. She makes sure that anyone who might need it has gifts at Christmas. Another reason we need Miss Norris is Senate Bill 199. It's the Elementary Behavior Intervention and Safety Act. They say the school counselor, the school social worker, or school psychologist would be tasked with conducting a functional behavior assessment to determine the underlying cause of behavior and develop an evidence-based behavior plan for the students to follow for 2 weeks. Okay, so that, plus her counseling, plus everything else she does, the attendance, the being in touch with the community to get students' needs met. I don't know how any counselor's going to do that, to be honest, if they have time. I mean, big Harry Potter fan here, but I don't think she has a time turner. I'm pretty sure she's on the same timeline we are. So without that, I just don't see any way her job can be done half-time at each school. Studies have shown that a full-time counselor at elementary school increases test scores because students have been taught how to manage stress. Our students deserve every opportunity to be successful. I understand the uncertainties we are facing. We have budget cuts, the dismantling of the Federal Department of Education. The uncertainties we feel in regard to our schools, our jobs, really aren't much different than the uncertainties our students may face. Only theirs are a little bit different. Will I eat tonight? Will I live in the same place tomorrow? Who am I going to be with? Mom? Dad? Grandma? Mrs. Norris is a certainty in their lives. Let's not take that away. Thank you.
Thank you. Virginia Kister.
Hello, my name is Virginia Kester. I'm 16 years old and I'm a junior at Woodrow Wilson High School. I'm here to talk about the termination of the counselors in Raleigh County. My grandmother and my uncle have both passed away in this school year. My grandmother passed away October 1st and my uncle passed away January 23rd. Both of these deaths have been very heavy on my heart, mentally, and it has been a very big struggle for me. Along with my schooling, my volunteer work, my job, and all extracurriculars, including my theater, which I am a part of at Woodrow Wilson High School. All of my counselors have been there with me every single step in this entire school year, helping me grieve, helping me with my school, helping me with anything I could possibly need. Because it's not something easy to deal with 2 deaths in a family for a 16-year-old. They have helped me tremendously. They have also helped me with theater. They are there every step of the way. They help me with getting all of my credits that I need to pass high school, anything I would need for college. They help me. They have even donated food to our entire theater program for all of us. All of my counselors have helped me. Not just one, not just the other. Each and every one of them have always had a door open for me. They have always been ready to help me no matter what. I know that there's always somebody standing in my corner no matter what time of day, no matter when it is, if I need somebody. I don't have to go pay for somebody. I don't have to wait. I don't have to wait weeks to see somebody. I just get to go see them, a smiling face that knows my name and knows my background and knows my story. They have always been there, and I have a very emotional connection to each and every one of my counselors. I'm 16, and this is how deeply I feel about my school counselors. I can't imagine how elementary or middle schoolers will feel when their counselors are taken away from them, because I'm sure they have also gone to grown a connection with each of their counselors, as one will do when they see somebody who helps them mentally on a daily basis for some. But I think it's very important that if you take away these counselors, that a lot of students are going to struggle a lot mentally, including myself, because growing up is hard and some people don't have the best home life or the mental health. Thank you.
Thank you. Caitlin Cook.
Hi, my name is Caitlin Cook, and I'm a junior here at Woodrow. As you can probably see on my shirt, I am a part of the theater program here. I remember a live stream of a meeting that I watched back in March, where all of you said some great things about our show, so thank you for that. But our theater program would not be the same without our school counselors. Our counselors, first, they put us in the class to begin with, and I mean, some of the students in our class probably wouldn't even know about theater and know if it was an option without them. Our counselors, they help to make sure that we still have all of the credits that we need to graduate, even though we are still taking up a full class period with theater. They make sure that we get all the classes we want to take, all of the classes we need to take. All of the counselors, but especially two, have really, really helped with theater. Last year for Tarzan, I remember Miss Erica Hampton, she helped sew some of the costumes. She didn't have to do that. She had no reason to, other than the fact that she wanted to help us. And another one, Mrs. Cook, who is my mom, she has really, really helped us with it. One day, we came in and we helped distribute and sign in costumes. We didn't have to do that. It was a free day. We didn't have school. We came here to help Mrs. Stack and Mrs. Schrader get our costumes in order. They would have done great on their own, but with our help, they got it done a lot faster and a lot less stressful. While my mom is still my mom, she is also some of these kids' school mom. Some of these kids come to school to see her. Some of these kids don't have that mom at home, so she has to be that for them, as do all of the counselors in Raleigh County. Kids really, really rely on counselors. They aren't just something that's interchangeable. They make connections with these people. Every one of these counselors has at least 2 students that they could name every little detail about it. You all are elected by the citizens of Raleigh County to help our students, parents, and staff. And I believe that if you pass these recommendations to terminate this many counselors in Raleigh County, it will be very detrimental to the students, parents, and staff. Thank you.
Thank you. Krista Dumas.
I always over-enunciate my name because we always seem to get it wrong when I'm here. But that's all right. My name is Dr. Christy Williams Dumas. I want to first speak as a concerned community member and mother of a child in the public education system. At the last board meeting, we heard the pleas of teachers, of parents, counselors, staff, and young children. As we watched in real time their attempts to mediate their affect while expressing the ways that teachers, counselors, and programs brought out the best in them. I was most inspired by the children who so eloquently articulated their need to be nurtured and challenged. It was the students who used biblical texts to make such poignant assertions. It is true, a child shall lead them. And in so, following the children, I offer that 1 Corinthians 6 and 12 and 10 and 23 says that everything lawful is not expedient. Meaning, while you may have the freedom to, that freedom shouldn't be used to commit acts that are harmful or unhelpful, even if they are permissible. Even if you technically can, you shouldn't. You shouldn't leave neurodivergent children with no credentialed special education teacher or aide. You shouldn't leave children who routinely experience traumatic childhood events without counselors. You shouldn't leave children with demonstrated lack of self-regulation and maladaptive behavior without behavior specialists. You shouldn't have the unreasonable expectation that teachers in very challenging learning environments will facilitate multi-level teaching. You shouldn't have a top-heavy administration while cutting the boots on the ground teachers who give 100% every single day. You shouldn't. But unfortunately, I believe you will. So, let me speak to you now as the chair of the Human Rights Commission. The HRC has now made Raleigh County Schools a priority cause for our advocacy. We are particularly concerned and disconcerted about the areas in which you have chosen to make cuts. Further, we are concerned about future compliance with Senate bills like 199, IEPs, 504, and behavior support plans. To this end, we are exploring avenues and efforts to dissipate any malfeasance. We stand for the child's best interests. You will formally hear from the Human Rights Commission in the future. Parents, if you have children with a disability, a 504 plan, IEP, behavior support plan, or they receive counseling or social work services, or if you have other concerns, please contact the Human Rights Commission. Go on the city's website for our contact information. Board of Education, I urge you to be on the right side of history, starting tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. Brian Brown.
Good evening. I'm really here for the teachers, the counselors that are sitting here waiting to hear their fate. From a personal level, it was a teacher that identified the need of a problem of a child that's now in my care. It was a counselor that sat with her when CPS was called. And it's been counselors that have been with her every day to talk and help her navigate those very difficult moments after being removed from her home. 5 years later, when we were out shopping, she was looking at gifts to buy those teachers and those counselors from elementary school. She's now in middle school. It's the impact that those counselors have on a little child when they need someone the most. And to think that you all are going to take that away from them is not only disheartening, it's cruel. It's cruel for you counselors to be sitting out there waiting to hear if you will have a job, and that child that you know needs you will actually, that you'll be there for them come next year or at the end of the year. This is a time in education when our leaders should be pulling together, because we have an administration that is taking education apart. We should be looking out for the best interest of our children and providing the best possible place for them, because in private schools and homeschooling, we don't have the same opportunities that we have in public schools. And it seems as though our leadership is helping to dismantle what makes and keeps our public education system viable and important and necessary. You see, when all is said and done and private schools become the way of tomorrow, and our public schools will be left our special needs children, our lower socioeconomic children, and all of those children left behind that are going to need the extra support, and who will be there to help provide it. And it's important that when we're thinking about that we realize that cuts will have to be made, but they should be made across board. We know that we have a top-heavy administration, yet we seem to be cutting from the bottom and not from the top. We are taking from the children when we should be taking from our leadership, because it is truly the caring voices in the classroom and in the school halls that create a lasting impact on these children. And we must, under all circumstances, continue to put that smiling face, that welcoming voice, that easy redirect of an eye that counselors and teachers can give to a student before they get unruly. You know, I don't think that we appreciate these people and their jobs that they do as much as we should. So I appreciated seeing you stand, and it broke my heart to see you stand, because you shouldn't be standing. There are others that should be standing in your place. There are other places that could be cut and should be cut. And unfortunately, we are cutting from our children. The reality is that hearts were already hardened, decisions were already made. But as we stand here today, I hope that you have a change of heart and you put the needs and the wants and the desires of our children first, and know that there's a counselor pushing, cheering, and extolling them along the way. So counselors, my message is really for you. Know that there's a community of support out here behind you. And while we may not be able to stop this one, there won't be a next one.
Thank you. Caitlin Stover.
I will be reading the Counselor's Manifesto. Standing for every child, every voice. I stand for children who have no voice, and I amplify the voices of those who are silenced. I am the keeper of their truths, and their stories will never be erased on my watch. I believe every child deserves to be seen, heard, and supported, no matter their race, gender, or background. I will not apologize for their identities, nor will I allow anyone else to dismiss them. I choose empathy over compliance, compassion over conformity. I understand that trauma, discrimination, and hardship affect every part of a child's being, and I meet them where they are with open arms and an open heart. I am not just a counselor. I am an advocate, and I am a listener. I am a protector. I am a fighter for justice. When the systems that surround our children are broken, I will not be silenced. When their voices are drowned out, I will amplify them louder. I will not be swayed by those who seek to divide us. I will stand firm in my belief that diversity is a strength, that equity is a right, and that inclusion is non-negotiable. I will lead with truth, even when that truth is inconvenient or uncomfortable, because the truth will set us free, even if it first makes us uncomfortable. I will continue to seek knowledge and growth, because to be a counselor is to be a lifelong learner. I will nurture my own emotional well-being so that I can be a source of steadfastness and a support for others. Above all, I will not let fear govern my actions. I will move forward with love, love for every child, love for my colleagues, and love for the future we are building together. Please meditate on the words in this manifesto that I have read and heavily consider the importance of the work school counselors do for our students in Raleigh County. We love our kids, and we want to stay in our schools to help our communities thrive. I went into school counseling based off of a prayer and a dream that I had. And over the last 5 years, this has been my dream career. Please reconsider reinstating school counselors and teacher positions that have been cut so that we can continue working in our dream jobs daily and helping kids. Thank you.
Thank you. West Dangerfield.
Thank you for the time and the opportunity to come before you and speak. I'm here as a dad. I'm a dad of 3. God blessed me with 3 wonderful girls. I'm not originally from this area. I'm an import. I came from Virginia, southeastern Virginia. However, this location has been my home for well over 20 years. So even though I may not be originally from here, I'm invested in here. God has blessed me to be here with my family. We in turn have invested back in them. And I can't tell you how much more I've been blessed, my family's been blessed by the people specifically at Standiford Elementary. To me, they represent the best of the best. All of my girls have been there. 2 of them are still there. So with that, as things continue to progress, I understand from a leadership perspective, there's always challenges. There's always limited resources. But to know and understand where the resources are, the resources of people, and the people that are there, as I have met and been with them for over a decade, I've seen all of them. I haven't hit my 5 minutes yet. It's okay. No worries. No worries. But again, with that, I would just say I have no doubt that as we invest in our resources, the people that are there specifically that I am most familiar with by name, not just the teachers, but the entire faculty, everybody that's there, from the people that are sweeping the floor to the medical team that is also there, whether they're employed or outsourced or all together that is there, they are the best of the best. The difference of remaining there and choosing where I was going to live before I met my wife, before I was blessed with children, had the reputation. This is where you want to be. This is where I've stayed. I hope that things, as they continue through the leadership, don't change in such a way that the best of the best are not there. Because in turn, that is a death spiral for a community. That is not a good thing. There is bound to be a way that we can find other resources to invest back in the people that we have. Because once those people are gone, they're so hard to get back. I thank them all, whether they're in this room or not, for what they've done. For my family, for over a decade, it's been there. And with that, I know some of them have already transitioned, and I know others potentially may transition. But if this is an opportunity to hear from a parent, as you have heard from other students or you've heard from others, resources can be raised, resources can be reallocated, but people cannot. So I hope that you will consider, as you look at the broad picture for the entire county, which is a much bigger challenge that you have. I'm speaking specifically for one school and over a decade of experience of how wonderful it was, and I hope can continue. Thank you.
Thank you. Kevin Oakes.
Good evening, members of the board, Dr. Starcher, members of the community, fellow colleagues in Raleigh County Schools, students. I'd like to address a few things tonight. I want to try to make that fairly short. First thing I'd like to say is I had the chance to speak at the last board meeting, and I was so impressed by young people. And the teenagers who spoke tonight did a great job, and I'm proud of them. But I listened to 7-year-olds, 8-year-olds, 10-year-olds get up and speak so well that I was like, I want that kid in class, I want that kid in class, I want that kid in class. I was paying attention to elementary schools thing, and I want to teach those kids that did such an amazing job. A few things I've got stories here to tell you about. My children both are going to Shady Spring High School. Our daughter's in college now. Our son is finishing up at Shady Spring High School next year. They both got to take French with Miss Fetty. I'm very confused. Miss Fetty has taught for several years. She does a great job. She not only teaches French, she makes it come to life because she works on things with Fat Tuesday and does all these extra things that makes such an impact for these young people. And we don't have a Spanish teacher. We do not have a Spanish teacher. We have a sub. So I'm confused to take a certified French teacher and lose that because foreign language is a requirement for college as far as I know, and I think that it's great that we have that and we can continue to offer that. So I'm here to speak on Ms. Fetty's behalf. I taught at Liberty High School for 10 years and knew Erica Hampton very well. And I'm a man. I don't notice a lot of things sometimes with kids, and I had a young lady in class one day that looked almost emaciated, kept putting her head down. We were building picnic tables, I remember, for a park. Mr. Pat got me into that, and I had worked all day and was hot and sweaty, and it was the last class period. She comes in, I said, "Are you okay? Did you eat lunch?" "No." I said, "You need something to eat?" I said, "We can get you a sandwich. We'll do something." "No, I'm okay, Mr. Roach." She kept putting her head down. I said, "Are you sure? Aren't you running track?" She goes, "Yeah." I said, "Have you eaten today?" "No." I didn't know what was going on. I stayed after school and talked to Erica Hampton, and she knew exactly what was going on and told me to reach out to that girl's mother, that there were concerns about her, and the mom thought nobody cared about that kid. And I said, "I will reach out to her today." That lady was on the ball of taking care of the issues with that young person. I told you about my relationship with Miss Dorsey. I come in tonight, and the first person to walk up and talk to me is our guidance counselor, Laura Colacerto, to tell me about a young person that I have known for a long time. I can't go into a lot of details, but I told her a lot of things about this young man that's probably going to be a new student. And what in the world would we do in a school system without that support structure that we have right there? The next thing's the adult programs, and I'm a fairly connected person. Lord have mercy, I texted 2 people in the legislature today. I didn't get to talk to the one I was hoping to, just to find out about this adult program thing, because it sounds like it's being tabled, and I guess that takes that off everybody's worries tonight. But I can't understand what in the world they're doing, taking an axe through education in Charleston, saying, let's steal everything from a place that's done it well forever to give it to somebody else and say, good luck to y'all, figure this out. That's absolutely asinine. I can't believe it's even going on. Hopefully that's taken care of. Music in elementary school. I can't even play the radio. We have a daughter that loved the band, and if it wasn't for that man sitting over there, I don't know that she'd have had that interest to carry that into Shady Spring Middle School, to carry it on to Shady Spring High School, the impact that it makes to students, those concerts that they do, the things that brings the community back into the school. we're not losing numbers from what I can see is what I don't understand. I've seen numbers for Shady Spring Elementary. I've seen numbers for the high schools. I don't know where the cuts are coming from unless they are changing the way they fund things. And I'm pushing for that to stay. The next thing is I'm 47 years old. Miss Fetty said she's a hair older than me. I can't tell you how old she is, but we're getting close to retirement. Those of us who make it through this, I hate to say it, but the day we turn 55, we're just going to have to say bye because we're going to be scared to death of retirement and whatever's going to happen. We can't find anybody to be a school teacher. I don't know how we recruit anybody to be a school teacher or a custodian or a cook or a bus driver if everybody's scared to death of losing their job. We have to do something to fix this, and one of the last things to say about that is I think we're about 30 students short at Shady Spring High School, and I bet if you go look, every one of those is sitting at home on a computer doing the absolute basics for some kind of nonsense from the Hope Scholarship. And I'm sure there's some people out there that are teaching people very well, but I am scared to death that within 2 or 3 years, if we lose everything like music and art and foreign language and what I do, why would anybody go to school? I said that last time, and I firmly believe that. Why would anybody go to school? They'll start figuring out other ways of doing that, and then more of that will bleed and pour away. And I don't know. We've got to somehow fight that legislature to get some of that stuff fixed. And I don't know how you make a decision because I don't know how that works. That's my problem. And I try to be that person who asks questions to figure things out and understand what's going on, and I don't. But 72, I believe, people absolutely blows my mind. I hope that there's ways of fixing that. Saving these jobs, especially those I've mentioned, because I know the people well. It's very important we have them there. The last thing I'll mention, there's an FFA banquet on May the 1st. I hope that everybody received their invitation. I'm sorry if some of you had to be somewhere else. We're going to smoke some brisket and have a really good night and recognize kids. We have an American farmer from Shady Spring who's going to be a finalist for the Star Farmer of West Virginia. I found that out today, 4 state degrees, and the runner-up to the Star Farmer of West Virginia. Liberty has 2 state degrees. I know that because I had them up there today. There's a national officer going to be at Shady Spring High School in the morning. We're going to have breakfast together, do a few things. Then she's going to run down to Liberty High School and finish her day there. And we're all going bowling tomorrow night. So if you want some fun tomorrow night, we got that. That's the kind of things that we do. That's what Mr. Campbell does. That's what she does with her French class and all the extra things that they do. What in the world would school be like without all these programs? And if it's them today, it'll be more next year. There's no way it won't happen. So if there is any way to save this stuff, if we can help you figure it out, I'd love to talk about it. I know you can't sit here and talk about it. You all can call me and exactly to get a hold of me. I'll come back to school. We'll do whatever we got to do, all right, to figure this out. If there's some way of saving these positions, we'll all give and take and make it work. But if we don't have them, I just don't know where school's going to be. I don't know what else to say. I tried to make some notes and hit everything. I hope that somebody else says something different. Thank you.
Thank you. Jennifer Oakes. Okay, thank you. Communication reports. Dr. Hutchins?
Well, I will follow Mr. Oakes and say I had a great time at Shady High School with the FFA and the public speaking. It was really a nice thing. There were students there, of course, from Shady High School, Liberty High School, Greenbrier County, and Monroe County. Yeah. So it's just a nice gathering and nice to be out there and to be a semi-qualified judge.
Ms. Smith?
Since the last meeting was I visited Woodrow.
Thank you. Ms. Hambrick?
Rick always has a microphone ready. The only thing I'm excited about is April 17th for a couple reasons, but one's our Pre-K Expo that's always so good, and the other is our Service Personnel of the Year dinner, I think on the 17th. So, teacher one, okay, so Teacher of the Year one. So that's coming up.
Mr. Snuffer?
I'll do an unusual thing. I don't have much to report tonight, but I will say something for Mr. Oaks. Kevin, that's the first time I've ever heard her say, you said everything for her. I mean, I've known her a long time, but you should probably write that down, okay? It is recorded now, so you do have that, okay? Got it. But no, appreciate everybody's comments. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't have anything, Doctor.
A couple things. This week is Disability Awareness Week across Raleigh County, so you may see some information from our schools and on Facebook about that. So I wanted to let everyone know about that. Tomorrow morning at 10 is a ribbon cutting at Clear Fork Elementary School for the new sheriff's detachment that will be located inside of Clear Fork Elementary School. So we're very excited to have that office at Clear Fork given its remoteness. And then just yesterday morning, we received approval of our school calendar for next year from the West Virginia Department of Education. So we will be releasing that to our public and schools and so forth, start making plans for next school year. If I may, I'd like to make a few comments during my report here. Obviously, over the last month and a half, I would say, well, 1 month, 3 board meetings, we've had a significant number of speakers come out about the proposed personnel reductions, transfers, terminations, whatever they may be. And I want to say I appreciate all of the feedback. I wouldn't pretend to suggest the position that I hold is that this is easier on me than it is on you. I understand that what we're going through is very difficult for our employees. It's difficult and it's personal, and I respect that. And I certainly, whether it seems that way or not, I certainly value all of the work that our employees do. Unfortunately, in Raleigh County schools, we are simply in a position where we're significantly overstaffed. More overstaffed than we've been. I can look back to 2010-11 on the State Department's website. That's as far back as I could go. And we're projected to be more overstaffed next year than we've been in any of those years. And those aren't my projections. Those are projections provided by the West Virginia Department of Education. We've had a lot of speakers regarding counselors, regarding our what we call specials teachers in the elementary schools, whether that be music, art, STEM, and as we've communicated, we work with our principals to determine what those specials classes will be. The principals make a recommendation based upon what they believe is best for their building. It's not me saying we're going to recommend art at this school or music at that school. The principals let us know or let me know what they think is best for their school. I know we've said this many times. It's been in the paper, it's been in the media, that we have many, many, many vacancies. It's not as if we don't have positions here in Raleigh County. May not be the exact position an employee wants, but we have positions available. So I look at this as really the proposal as a realignment of our existing workforce. Certainly may not be the exact position you want or in the exact school you want, but for the most part, we can keep all of our staff if you want to work in Raleigh County. And then as I heard someone, I think it was Mr. Oaks, when he was talking about resources and looking for other resources. One thing, and I believe this will only apply to the Beckley area schools because it's the city of Beckley that's reached out to us about some opioid funds that it has available. So we are planning to send a letter. There's no application, but I will be sending a letter on behalf of the school system requesting support, financial support. What we'll be requesting hasn't been finalized. I hope to do that Thursday in a meeting that we have scheduled. But, perhaps the city will be able to support some of what we have recommended for elimination. So with all of that, and let me touch upon the adult funding, because Mr. Oaks also said that. Yes, my understanding is that bill has been tabled and it didn't cross over on the crossover or by the crossover day. But to date, we have not received confirmation from State Department of Education that we will receive the funding. Just this morning, yesterday, Mr. Pack sent an email. I asked him to do that to the State Department to see where we were in terms of receipt of funding for our adult programs. Because trust me, if I could have pulled people off the recos tonight, I would do that. But as of this morning, the email, although I don't have it memorized word for word, it basically said the budget at the state level has not been decided upon by the House and Senate and signed by the governor. So until that happens, the State Department would not be able to tell us what level of funding we will be receiving, which directly affects our adult programs. As I met individually with each of the faculty at ACT that is affected, I did tell them that as soon as we would know that we are receiving that funding, we will have them on the very next board agenda and possibly even schedule an extra meeting just to get them off of these recos. So, or get them rescinded and back into positions for sure for next year. So we, as we find any additional funds or as the state releases funding for the adult programs, I'm confident, I don't often speak for the board, but I'm confident we will take immediate action to restore the positions that we can. So I just wanted to offer that. Thank you so much.
Thank you. We have no unfinished business, no policies and procedures, consent items A through F. Could we get a vote for all those together, or is there any want to be pulled?
I move we approve the consent items as were submitted to us.
Motion's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. New business. Consider approval of the West Virginia School Board Association's membership fee. It's a standard thing that we do every year, is that right?
I move we approve the payment of our association dues.
Is there a second? Motion's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Consider approval of the addition of the additional 2025 summer feeding program sites. Ms. Baker, you want to say anything?
Thank you. Too short for the mic? Thank you. This summer, in the beginning, we thought there would be no summer school or feeding programs, but all of a sudden it kind of blossomed. So we do have 2 Energy Express sites that we're going to, is Ridgeview and Fairdale, and then the summer sites for summer school was Stratton. Please help me. I was unprepared for this. Stratton and 2 other sites, Beckley and Beckley Stratton is going to be.
I can help you. I'll help you.
Okay, please do.
Your letter here, or memo, says on-site summer feeding, Fairdale and Ridgeview for Energy Express. And then these next ones are for summer school. Fairdale Elementary, Ridgeview Elementary, Stratton Elementary, Beckley Elementary, Bradley Elementary, and Beckley Stratton. Those are each July 7th to July 25th?
Yes. Yes.
And then Beckley Stratton for special ed, June 23rd through July 18th. And then we'll have the satellite summer feeding.
Yes.
That's what's listed.
Yes. And as far as right now, YMCA is the only off-site that we'll have. But I'm rearranging the positions in 3 of the schools. 2 of them will be hubs that YMCA and other 2 summer schools will feed out of in July. And that's just to try to have two cooks in one school for safety reasons.
Anybody have any questions? Have a motion?
I move we approve the summer feeding program sites that were furnished to us by Ms. Baker tonight.
Have a second? Motion's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Consider approval of the following agreement with the Academy of Careers and Technology Pharmacy Technical Programs with Epi's Drugstore.
Mr. Ford, Mr. Pack, as he said earlier, had to leave to go to the National Technical Honor Society inductions, but both C and D are for the Academy of Careers and Technology. First one is Pharmacy Tech Program, the second one is Medical Assisting, and these are standard agreements that we do for training, on-the-job training, basically, or on-site training for students in pharmacy tech and then medical assisting. That's both items.
I move we approve then the agreement with Academy and Careers for the technical program with Epi's Drug. If no one has objection, I would go ahead and make that motion to include the medical assistant program for Dr. Sims.
Have a second? Motion's been moved and seconded for approval of Epi's and also Dr. Sims. To have, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Approve superintendent's recommendations for personnel for 24-25 year.
My recommendation is as presented.
I move we approve the superintendent's recommendations as are submitted, 24-25.
Motion's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
President Ford, I move that we go into executive session to discuss the superintendent's recommendations for 25-26.
Motion been moved to go into executive session at 6:40. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carries. Thank you. We'll be back. Let the record show we're out of the executive session. $7:57. Okay, we're on to B. Approve superintendent's recommendations for personnel 25-26. Dr. Starcher.
Thank you, Mr. Ford. Mr. Ford, I have, and board members, I have some modifications to the recos that I'd like to present on page 1. Elementary counselors, letter A, like to remove the top 3, Nathaniel Dean, Sharetta Moore, and Christy Norris from the agenda. And then elementary counselor C, I'd like to remove Amber Cox. Mr. Ford, at the bottom of page 2, I would like to remove, no, I'm sorry. Sorry. Apologize. Wrong note. And I have one other adjustment to make, and that is on page 5. Middle of that section B, about halfway down, you'll see Jason Hatfield, welding teacher, Academy of Careers and Technology. We need to strike him in that section. He needs moved down to the contracted vocational letter A section. That will say, so he'll be under Edward Wills. It would say Jason Hatfield, contracted welding teacher, Academy of Careers and Technology. So we just need to move him down to that section. With those changes, I need one more thing. Okay, so those are changes to that agenda, those recos, and then I would like to remove 2 full sections. And those are page 2 at the bottom, elementary teachers, section A. And then over on page 3, I'd like to remove the entire section of letter B.
And you'll submit those separately?
Yes, I will be submitting that separately. So again, the 4 counselors on page 1, removing them, removing the elementary teachers, section A and B, and then moving Jason Hatfield. With that, with those changes, I would recommend these recos be approved as presented, and then I'll have a second recommendation.
I move we approve the superintendent's recommendations with the noted corrections, additions, and abstractions as were noted.
Motion's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Motion carries.
My second recommendation would be the approval on page 2, starting on page 2, of the elementary teacher sections A and B as presented.
I move we approve the superintendent's recommendations for personnel for elementary teachers, section A and B as was submitted.
Motion moved and second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion, anybody opposed?
No.
No.
It's 3-2, motion carries. Anything else?
No, that is all. Thank you.
That's all we have on our agenda. Thank you for coming. We appreciate your input. This meeting is adjourned.